Hi, everyone. Welcome again to another episode of Be Heard Women Empowering Women. And today I have a beautiful woman, Miss Diane Randall, with us today. And she wrote a book called Jumpstart Your Life, Find Your Motivation, and Change Your Life One Step at a Time. So, Diane, you have a master's degree in spiritual psychology.
Yes, I do.
Never heard of that.
You know what? I never heard of it until I saw a young. I was at a spiritual event, and a
Mhm.
young Van Zant walks across the stage, and she said, "I have a master's in spiritual psychology," and that resonated so deeply with me. I looked it up. I did all the background work. Next thing I know, I'm in class.
Love that. I
Isn't
like
that ironic?
that is fabulous. And so you are an instructor yourself now and an author, and you travel the world and you lead workshops and seminars and you speak and you conduct one-on-one sessions. And your goal is to help more professionals with demanding schedules live healthier while simultaneously creating lifestyles they truly love. Wow, that sounds like a tall order. What led you toward this career path?
It is a tall order,
Yeah.
and I have modeled everything that I do initially with as my experiences have unfolded. They have impacted my experiences have impacted all of the work that I do. Getting to the life that I truly love
Mm.
took work. It took therapy. It took a whole lot of things to get to where I am today. And what I can say in this moment is that I'm so happy that I went through everything that I went through. The initial stages were pretty dark, and you don't know if things will ever get better. And then as time goes on and being open-minded and reading and learning and just wanting to be well
Yeah,
and
I
to be
so
happy.
relate to this. I so relate to this. In my book, I talk about a lot of that. I had a very tough path in the beginning, probably 40 years of my life. Um, Actually, even before birth, because my mother didn't want me and she tried to get rid of me and then told me
Mm.
about it before she died. She tried to get rid of me. Would you tell me that? Anyway, so was there a particular hard situation that you got through before you got to this better lifestyle?
Well, the premise and the now I'm clear that the murder of my sister at 19 years old really, I wouldn't say it started then, but it put that darkness inside of me and wanting to be free and happy. It started me on the path to where I am today.
I'm so sorry to hear that. And the thing of it is, life happens and things are going to happen and tragedies are going to happen. But when they happen to you and they hit you and knock the wind out of you, some people don't get back up. And I think, the thing is that some of us just have that little extra push in us that makes us keep going. And I always believed in education. Um, Mainly because my parents wouldn't let me go to college, held me back from that. And I finally ended up going back to college, or going to college at all, at 28 years old with two little children and no child support. But you know what? I did it because I wanted to do it. So even though I overcame different things and I got my college degree, I still had these core beliefs that were holding me back. Can you relate to that?
I can relate to that, and I can share some of those core beliefs. I didn't know that until my journey to
Yes.
educating and learning
What the
about myself from an
right, right.
internal point of view is I had a lot of self-doubt, felt unlovable, um, just not really believing that I was heard, or that why would people even listen to me?
Did your parents listen to you?
Pardon?
Your parents, did they listen to you growing up?
I grew up at an age, I'm a boomer, okay? So
Them
I
too.
grew up where kids were seen and not heard. Nobody really asked me what I thought or what I cared about. It's just do what I say. And
And
not
they
as I
didn't care what you thought or cared.
Yeah. So I grew up in a totally different era where kids just weren't seen, and you just followed the rules and you
Yeah.
did what you were told.
Yeah. Well,
So
you look good too for a baby boomer, let me tell you, girl.
thank you.
I just, going back to that and the way we were not treated, we were sort of invisible. My parents
Right.
spoke Italian. So whenever they didn't want us to know what they were saying, they would speak in Italian. Now, ideally, they could have taught me Italian. That would have been lovely if they taught me that language, but they used it as a weapon in their arsenal. So they could talk me that. No, I can understand that. Was it a big family that you grew up in?
Well, yes, I have a big family to answer your questions, but I have a lot of siblings, half siblings. Yeah, lots of family. Yeah.
Yeah, there were four of us, and definitely my brother and I, the two oldest, we were not. Well, my father, he seemed to care for me and my brother, but my mother, no, she was very cool. I don't think she really wanted children. I think she had them because she was supposed to. I don't know. She liked to work. She worked her whole life. So she would be gone all day. And then my father had a night job. So from the time I was, I don't know how old, very, very young, from like 3:30 to 4:30, I was the head of the household.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I'm in therapy still. I was in therapy. I got sober 34 years ago,
Congratulations.
which opened the door for growth, for spiritual growth, because I was self-medicating, of course.
Mhm.
And, even though I had dabbled here and there with a little counseling and stuff, it was mostly for marriage counseling, which I have two ex-husbands, which I tell people, husband, I have 9 with 34 years. So that means it was them, not me.
Mhm.
I love that line, but it's true. And both of them I tried dragging to marriage counseling, and no way. And the Catholic Church, I was raised Catholic. When I divorced my first husband, I was immediately excommunicated from the church.
Mm.
And I loved the church and I loved learning in school and all the, like, I was a good girl, one of those good girls with the book in her face all the time. And that hurt my heart. And I thought, I didn't do anything wrong. They did. They're the ones that cheated or lied or physically hurt me, etc. So I got away from the Catholic Church and then I found sobriety. Wonderful. I learned a lot there. The Big Book. Have you ever read the Big Book or seen a copy or heard? Okay.
No.
The thing about the Big Book, it has steps for living. Just I was like amazed because I was always a good student, and I got it, and I went, "Wow, I wish I had this when I was a kid." And but one of the things they do say in there is it doesn't matter what spiritual program you practice as long as you practice a spiritual program,
Mhm.
which really makes sense.
Mhm.
Then it does not. Doesn't matter if you pray to a God, if you believe that the universe is in charge, but you have to have a program. How do you feel about that statement?
I do agree with that statement. Along my journey, I read books, a lot of spiritual books, and I do feel that along the way, reading some of those books, certain things resonated with me. And as time went on, I started feeling lighter and lighter.
Mhm.
With me, for my growth, if something resonated with me or sparked my curiosity, I just go to a class, I buy more books, I do whatever I had to do to get the message, because wow, this is really resonating with me.
And you had the light in you. You had that light. A small flicker maybe at the time, but you kept feeding it,
I
right?
kept reading it, and it's almost, not almost, I couldn't help myself.
No, that's good. You were driven. You were driven.
I could
I
not,
understand
I
that.
mean, I didn't care if it was in Europe. I didn't
Uh-huh.
care if it was in California.
Yeah.
I trekked to Santa Monica, California for 2 years to get my master's in spirituality,
Oh,
because I, I always say that experience, because it was an experiential program, that
mhm.
experience for me was second to having my kids in terms
Yes.
of what I've gotten from it.
Yes. Full circle from being a practicing Catholic to not practicing, but probably still having the Catholic beliefs. I ended up in a church called Unity, which is not actually a church. Have you heard of Unity?
The Unity
Oh,
Church. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Their headquarters is in Missouri,
Mhm.
near Kansas City, I think. I've been there. I've been to the world, not the world, the headquarters. But anyhow, that happened because in sobriety, I found these. We went to a set lectures, and there were three very well-known people. One was Deepak Chopra, which I'm sure
Mhm.
you know about him. One was
Yes.
Marianne Williamson.
Oh, I love her.
I
Yes, she
know,
my
yeah.
spiritual teachers. Yeah.
And one was Wayne Dwyer. And what happened there is my husband had gotten like the VIP passes, so we could meet them ahead of time at the little party. You know,
Awesome.
I got to meet all three. I was the first one, Deepak. I was all excited to see him. And my son-in-law, 2 days beforehand, OD'd on drugs.
Oh,
And my 4-year-old grandson was with him when it happened.
oh, so sorry to hear
It,
that.
it was very, yeah, it was tragic. It was heart-wrenching. So I wasn't going to go, you know. And my friend said, I think all the more reason you should go. And I listened to them and I went. And we were going up the elevator to the private thing. And the elevators opened. And here's Steve like leaning against the wall, like real casual. And he has an aura about him. You feel like you've known him your whole life when you meet him.
Mhm.
And I immediately told him about what happened. And he talked to me like he knew me all my life. He didn't act like some stranger, crazy woman just came out and was telling me about this tragedy. So, anyway, he signed a book for me and everything. And when we went to the lecture, I was right in the middle of the audience. And I swear he talked to me for the whole time.
Yeah, I can understand how you felt that way.
And he talked about things like synchronicity and just the universe and everything happens for a reason. And he was just wonderful. So that is how I got to Unity, because they all have connection with Unity. In fact, Marianne Williamson, I believe, is a Unity minister.
Yeah,
So,
I've seen her so much, but I have seen her at the Unity Church in Chicago
so you're
before, but
familiar.
my whole life. I've seen when Wayne Dyer was alive. Yes, these I call all three of them my spiritual teachers, because I have really gained some inside information from them that has really supported me in my life. So
And
those are
there's so,
three.
well, Wayne, of course, has died
Yes,
since,
long
but
time ago.
they're so real and honest. Like there's no way you think they're just like, giving you some baloney. When they talk, they believe what they're saying. It's a big thing. And so that led me to Unity. And we were there at a period where there was a changeover in ministers. So finally, we found this minister I loved. And it just happens he was gay. And he always brought a crowd when he spoke. And I said, let's get him. Well, his name is Reverend Taylor Stevens. And we did. And we love him. And he is so charismatic and just funny and down to earth. And he attracted such a diverse community. You know, we have Blacks, Hispanics, we have people that used to be Jewish, we have gay people, we have people in recovery. It's amazing. I love it. But unfortunately, 2020 messed us up because we had to close down for a few months. And,
Right.
yeah, but now we're back. Okay.
Awesome.
That's Unity of the Palm Beaches. I'll give you a shout out. Where are you at? Where do you live?
Chicago, Illinois.
Oh, you're in Chicago. I have a friend from Chicago, Nellie. Elkins, not Elkins. Is it Elkins? It's a town right outside of Chicago. I want to say
Elkhart. Talking about
no, I
Elkhart.
think it's Elkins or Elger. Starts with an E.
Elgin.
That's it.
Elgin.
Elgin.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm thinking of the ELs.
I met her at an AA meeting and she needed a sponsor and very low bottom. And today she bought a house. She's sober like 8 years or more. She's a success story. You know?
Awesome.
Yeah, I love her. Yeah. So I read one of your articles on your blog, and that was learning to navigate through difficult family dynamics. That I want to get to.
Okay. Your sound went out.
Tell us a little a bit on the family dynamics.
Okay. Well, my family dynamics has been a huge experience for me. Like I said earlier, I have siblings. My father has a total of 10 children, 3 wives. So I had sisters by my mom and my dad, and by my dad and 2 other phenomenal women. So when I say family dynamics, we were like when my sister died, it caused me that experience, and I say the difficulties, put something inside of me that no matter what happens in my family, bad or good, I have to stick with that person and love that person. And that wasn't a good thing. That was a very toxic thing. But that I literally had to learn how to free myself of over the years. Because being in the presence of family members who are toxic for whatever reason, we all have our own journey. Yeah. It's not a good thing. But for me, I'm holding on because of the loss from one of the family members. So just trying to navigate that really caused me to just integrate in a lot of drama, a lot of crazy, for a long time. So what I can say is, as I learned that love is love, it's love. You can love a person and not talk to them. You can love a person and give them space to live their life. You can love a person that you don't even talk to.
I know, but it's hard to live that. I'm living that right now.
Well, I'm just saying for me, and you're right, it's difficult, but for me, I love my relationships, my quality relationships, even with couple of close family members that I don't talk to. But when you think about what that experience is when you're together, and sometimes you have to step back.
You get reminded why you don't talk to them.
Well, for me, I just needed to allow that person to shift without my presence.
Yeah.
because the dynamics were very difficult, very toxic. So what I've learned is it's really okay. It's really okay if I'm not talking to that loved one. If they call me today, I'd be happy to hear from them. But I feel that if that relationship is toxic when we're together, then that pain of that interaction says to me that there hasn't been enough time or things haven't shifted.
Yeah.
Or we come together to try to talk about, and it's good to try to communicate with what the issues might be if the two people are willing, but that's not always the case.
No,
I
no,
think
my case is
more
not.
often than not, that's not the case. But I
No.
also feel that sometimes we need to give each other space
Yeah,
to figure it out, because sometimes that issue has nothing to do with you.
true.
You
That
you
is,
may you may just be that person close enough. That happens as well to get the
my therapist told me that. She
yeah,
said,
yeah.
there's a theory, I don't remember what it's called, but supposedly in every like family or group of relationships, whatever, somebody has to be the victim and someone has to be the villain. And this person has chosen you to be the villain for an important reason. I said, well, what is that? And she said, because you are the one person in their life that no matter what they do or say, you will never leave them. You will
I
always be there. And I said, that's true. And it's too bad that gives me that role to play, you know. But like you said, they're on their own journey, and that's their journey, and I have to respect that, even though it's
yes,
painful for me.
you respect that.
Yeah,
That's how I, yeah, you have to respect that, because what is the option up to
right,
that?
right.
It's the negativity, it's the drama, it's all the things that come with being in a space with people where you're just not connecting, you're not getting along.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I've just learned over time in my own journey and my own experience, because we all have these experiences, that
yeah,
I call it space.
space.
I need to give this person space. Not that I don't think about them, not that I don't love them,
Mhm.
not that, but I think sometimes it's just good to give that person, especially if you are the person that they feel is causing their pain. I think, to me,
Yeah,
that's a signal. That's a signal. And I got that the hard way.
I bet.
But I'm so at peace with that.
Let me ask
And
you
you know
because,
what?
go ahead.
Okay.
No, finish your thought.
No, I'm just saying I'm at peace with that. I have no,
Mhm.
yes, initially,
Yeah,
years it was pain, but now I'm really okay with it.
no,
I'm really,
that's really what I need to hear. I need to hear it a lot. Um, I know there's like one person in one of my groups that totally doesn't like me and it shows. And then there's this family member. Now I
mhm.
have a lot of friends, hundreds, not that I, in contact with them every day, but I have a lot of people, excuse me, in my life. And my therapist said, okay, let's do math. Let's say you have 100 friends and two of them don't like you. That means 98% of your people in your life like you. I said, yes. And she said, well, why are you focusing on the two that don't? And she's right. Why
Yeah.
am I doing that? Do I have this obsessive need to be liked by everyone? So I think that's important what you said. It's not about me necessarily. Don't make it about me. They have their own thing.
Unless there's something that you can tell me. I mean, I think
Exactly.
we have to be open to
Right.
that.
If I've
Uh,
extended my hand and if I've tried to talk to them and I've been rebuffed
mhm.
after so many times, you need to step back and
Yes,
said
that's
about
what
the
I mean.
first two husbands. It's not me,
That's
it's them.
Well, that's what I mean by giving people space. And,
Yes.
and one day they may want to talk about it, and maybe they won't.
Yeah.
And I learned this years ago from one of my best friends. Is I had a relationship that just ended. with a friend for like 10 years, and I was really perplexed because I didn't understand why. I mean, it really threw me for a loop. But here's what I've learned. I heard what she told me, but I wasn't there at the time. Sometimes people come into your life and the relationship completes.
True.
It's just complete.
Yeah.
And I didn't understand that years ago, but it just completes. And we really have to be okay
Yeah.
with that as
Yeah,
well.
I've gone through that with a friend too. And sometimes I think a friendship ended for a certain reason. And then in this one particular case, years later, another friend, I said, oh, well, it ended because I said this. And she said, you really think that? No, this is what happened. And it was a woman that I used to sponsor. And she said, she did not like that you said, don't call her early in the morning. Don't call me early in the morning because I don't get up early. And she didn't like that. I said, well, I said it, what a stupid reason. But here I was thinking it was something I said or did.
Yeah.
She didn't like my time schedule.
Well, and it's just good not to always feel it's something personal. You know
Exactly.
what I mean?
No, or
If it's
you'll
something,
undo all the good work.
yeah, you just ask, is there something,
Mhm.
that I mean, asking that question, is there something that,
Yeah.
I've done or said? And
And
if
then
they,
once you
yeah,
do that,
that's
it
it. But
falls in their place.
sometimes people aren't in our lives forever, and
Mhm.
we cannot decide what that timeline is.
Or what the
Sometimes they
reason
come in
is.
our life, they help us through a certain moment in time.
Mhm.
Sometimes they come in our lives and they're there for years. I do believe that now, that people come, husband, kids, everything come into our lives for a reason. And sometimes relationships come to completion.
For a
I
reason
had
or
a
not.
friend for 40 years. We went through 14 years old, went through life together. And it's like that relationship came to an end, and you see the signs no matter how they show up. But I am so complete, and this was a few years ago, it ended.
Mhm.
But here's how I know it ended: because of completion. I love her, I wish her the best, but I don't feel that we need to talk.
I
It
like
just
that thought. We're gonna probably wrap it up with that thought. I can't believe how fast this went. This went really quickly. So I have to have you back. I'm gonna have you
okay.
again. It's okay.
Okay.
But so before we end it, can you share with our listeners maybe your webpage, books, or where they can reach you?
Okay, my website is www.dianerandallconsults.com. You can find my book, Jumpstart Your Life, Find Your Motivation, and Change Your Life One Step at a Time. That is on Amazon, and it's also on my website. I also have an ebook called How to Get Unstuck Mentally and Emotionally. I just started a brand new podcast called Plant Based Curious. Felt that I've been plant based and vegan for 20 years, and I wanted to be more supportive to
Uh-huh.
people that want to change how they eat for better health and well being, because the mind, the body, and the spirit do go
All
together.
connected. They're all connected. Wow,
Yes.
this was great. I can't believe it went by so fast. Like I said, but we'll pick another of the many topics we can relate to. It sounds like we're kindred spirits for sure.
Yes.
And
Yes.
keep in touch with me,
Okay.
okay? Because I have a Facebook page. There's one under Mimi Tallow Breyer, and then my other one is Raised by Wolves, Trapped by Demons.
Is that the one that's selling really
That's
well?
the first
I
book.
love it.
Raised by Wolves, Trapped by Demon. That's on Amazon and
Oh,
Audible.
I love it.
It
That
just
is
had to be
great.
that title. And
That
then I have
is
a podcast, of course, which you're on right now. So I'm
right.
pretty busy,
That is beautiful.
but not too busy to talk to you, my darling. You were wonderful. And you
Thank you.
have a blessed day. And I am going to see you again soon, I am sure.
Okay.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Diane. Great.
Bye.
Bye bye.